personality Godhead. She's running after Krishna. What a beautiful sight that is. As she's chasing Krishna, she's got a stick in her hand. Krishna knows what that means, but he can't believe it. My mother, she's chasing me with a stick. Doesn't she love me? So he's running, and she's running. And as she's running, she creates such a beautiful picture. Flowers are falling from her hair. Her hair begins to flow down. She can't keep up with Krishna, it seems. But some other, she captures him. And then what happens? She has two hands. In one hand she has the stick. With her other hand she grabs Krishna's right hand and holds him. And what is Krishna doing? He's crying. He wants his mother to put the stick down, and he knows his best chance to get his mother to not chastise him is to cry so much that his body shakes and his necklace, pearl necklaces shake. Do any of you children do that? Put on such a demonstration so you don't get punished? Who has done that? You all have done that when you were little, yes? Put on a big show of crying and screaming so that you wouldn't be punished. So that's what Krishna is doing. His right hand is held by Mother Yashoda, who has a stick in her hand. And what does Krishna do with his left hand? He takes the back of his left hand and rubs his eyes so much that the black ointment around his eyes, used to decorate his eyes, begins to smear all over his face. Not creating a mess, but creating more beauty. Whether the black mascara around his eyes is perfectly there or smeared, it's all perfect. Krishna's never untidy. His beauty is unlimited. Of course, Mother Yashoda, out of pure parental love, is thinking, Krishna's hungry, he needs to be fed. Krishna's been playing in the forest all day, he needs a bath. But Krishna is unlimitedly perfect. There's never any flaw in Krishna. So when his eye ointment is there properly, that's unlimitedly beautiful. And when the eye ointment smears all over his face, it's unlimitedly beautiful. That is Bhagavan. So with his left hand, the back of his left hand, he's crying and rubbing his eyes and smearing, in the process, smearing the ointment all over his face. Now, the question the acharyas ask is, Krishna rubbing his eyes with the back of his left hand, is he doing that because he's crying so much that so many tears in his eyes? Or is he rubbing his eyes to produce more tears, to make a better dramatic production? He wants his mother to put the stick down. She's having the stick in her hand because out of pure love, she wants her child to not be so mischievous. Put the stick down, put the stick down. And his mother is saying, if you want me to put the stick down, then promise you'll never do this naughty activity again. Put the stick down, I promise, I promise. So in the first verse of Damodarastak, we sing about Mother Yashoda apprehending Krishna. She catches him from behind when Krishna is running. Paramistam Achantato Drutya Gopya. Just like he's some kind of thief, criminal, she catches him from behind and grabs him by the hand and holds him. So Krishna knows exactly what to do. show how fearful he is so his mother will stop and won't chastise him. She's mildly scolding him. She knows how much she should discipline her child. So just see Krishna with his pearl necklaces shaking. He's sobbing, he's breathing heavily. He's putting on such a show. And Mother Yashoda indeed begins to think, I don't want my child's psychology ruined by his becoming so fearful. Yes, some of you mothers, when you were scolding your child, you sometimes thought maybe this is too much. You want to be careful, right? You have to hit the mark precisely. Scolding without going over the line. So that's what Mother Yashoda is thinking. I don't want Krishna's child psychology ruined. She's the perfect mother. She's thinking in that way. And Krishna knows that the more he makes his body shake, the more tears he makes coming from his eyes, the less chance there is that he'll be punished. And then he can go on stealing butter. Krishna knows how to attract everyone. He displays the activities of the most lovable child. He displays the activities of the most lovable teenager. Teenagers love romance. But who can compete with Krishna's romance? Our material life is just an imitation of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is Krishna going to do? His mother is worried. He's so restless. I'll put the stick down, but maybe I have to bind him so that he doesn't race out into the forest. So therefore she comes to the decision that she'll bind Krishna to a mortar for grinding spices. Keep him from doing something so restless. And in that way the mother can tend to other household affairs, which are all meant for Krishna's pleasure. That you always have to remember. We're emphasizing that everything in Mother Yashoda's house is meant for Krishna's pleasure. 100%. So she's going to bind Krishna. Seems like a simple job. Krishna's just a little child. His waist is so tiny. It seems from ordinary vision, but how can ordinary vision understand Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Krishna, how do you bind Krishna? Think about it. What do you say? How do you bind Krishna? How do you bind someone who has no inside or outside? How do you get a rope around them? What is Krishna's back? What is Krishna's front? Everything is Krishna's energy. Yet Krishna indeed shows his form as a child. But there's no limitation. How do you get a rope around what's impossible to measure? So again, Krishna has no inside or outside, no backside, no front side. He's beyond time. He's beyond space. Yet Mother Yashoda is trying to bind him. You cannot understand the form of Krishna with ordinary senses and ordinary knowledge. In other words, everything about Krishna is inconceivable. Just like Krishna's form is inconceivable, Krishna's name is inconceivable. How it is that the Supreme Absolute Truth can dance on our tongue as the Hare Krishna mantra. It's a great offense to the holy name to consider it an ordinary sound vibration. It's a great offense to consider that the holy name is meant for providing some pious material benefit, some punya, some good karma. No, the purpose of chanting Hare Krishna is to increase our devotional service, eventually increasing our love for Krishna. That same inconceivable Krishna, Mother Yashoda is trying to bind. So please now meditate on that paradox. It should be so easy to bind Krishna. What's the difficulty? You know what happens. She gets one rope. She can't get it around Krishna. There's always a gap of 2 fingers. She gets another rope. Ties rope after rope after rope, trying to get the sum total of all the ropes around Krishna's waist. And no matter how many ropes she puts together, what? Always 2 fingers too short. Krishna's showing, unless I give my permission, you can't bind me. What's happening in technical terms, for those of you who are interested? Krishna has various shaktis, various energies. So his vibhuti shakti, his energy of opulence, was manifesting, and therefore the rope would not go around Krishna's waist. He became unropeable. Not only was the vibhuti shakti manifesting, but the satya sankalpa shakti was manifesting. The satya sankalpa shakti is Krishna's energy for doing his own thing. Independently doing what he wants to do. He didn't want to be bound. Why didn't Krishna want to be bound? Who knows? If he's bound, how's he going to go on stealing butter, doing mischief with his friends? So he was determined not to be bound, so he could go on playing his mischief. And Mother Yashoda was determined to bind him. Out of pure love. She's thinking, I must train my child properly. She's not thinking that Krishna is Bhagavan. Her love is free from any kind of awe and reverence and opulence of Vaikuntha. This is the topmost portion of Krishna's pastimes. So she's simply thinking, Krishna is my child, I must train him properly. Therefore, let me bind him for his own benefit. Her trying to bind Krishna was the manifestation of her pure love. But binding Krishna was not such a simple affair. She got rope after rope after rope and joined the ropes together. And still she couldn't do something about the gap of 2 fingers always remaining. The elder gopis in the village came to watch, and they were all smiling. This child is very special. Still, they didn't think Krishna's God. They just thought, he's a very special child. Somehow or other, none of the ropes are going around his waist. They were hinting to Mother Yashoda, maybe you should just stop and give up. There's something special about this child. But what was Mother Yashoda thinking? She's thinking, I don't care if I have to stay here all day and get every rope in the village and tie them together. I will discipline my child. That was her determination. That determination is called Bhakta Nishta, the determination of a devotee. that determination of the devotee attracted Krishna's swanishta, his personal stock of mercy toward his devotee. So it was the combination of the effort of the devotee, because Krishna saw his mother was getting fatigued. Drops of perspiration on her spiritual body. He saw how tired she's becoming, trying to bind him. He didn't want his mother to suffer any inconvenience. He knew that she's 100% dedicated to his pleasure. So he began to show his mercy. That mercy, combined with his mother's endeavor, filled the gap of 2 fingers, showing you that those 2 things in a devotee's life always need to be there. The personal mercy of Krishna combined with our own endeavor. Both should be there. And then any gap in our life is dealt with. Just like the gap of 2 fingers that was always there was dealt with when Krishna became so affected by his mother's loving efforts to bind him. Her care, her pure Vatsalya prem, he became so affected by it. All right, let her bind me. He showed mercy in response to his mother's endeavor. So this month, let us deeply consider, who is Krishna? How much of Krishna do we know? How much do we understand that Krishna is not a product of the material energy? His name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes have nothing to do with the material energy. This month, let us make some special endeavor to increase our spiritual life. Maybe there's some little thing you can sacrifice in your life that will increase your spiritual dedication. Give up something, big or small. Do something. Be proactive, doing something, big or small, all for the purpose of increasing your spiritual life. This is the month for that. And as we said at the beginning, remember who is the president, the presiding personality of this month. Krishna's dearest devotee, his dearest consort, is the Urjeshwari, the queen of the Urja Vrat. The vows that we follow in this month of Kartik. The main point of all the vows is not to show how austere you are. The main point of the vows is not to show how great we are. The point of the vows is to increase our Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Krishna. In this way, you all will be benefited. And you'll move further on the path of achieving the ultimate goal of life. And we'll stop here and ask any questions. Yes?
Tell me what is Urja Vrat?
He wants to know what is the Urja Vrata. These are vows taken during this month of Kartik. Maybe you'll eat less. Certainly there's the offering of the lamps. That's part of the Urja Vrata. All the activities that we undertake this month are for giving pleasure to Krishna. Maybe you'll make a vow. Instead of 4 hours a day on Facebook, only 2 hours. And use those 2 hours you save for reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Remember, all the vows that you make should lead to increasing the hearing and chanting about Krishna.
Maharaj, how can we understand how austerity helps us increase our bhakti?
We have to know what real austerity is. Not that we should perform some hardship artificially to show that we can do it. No, all austerity should result in giving more pleasure to Krishna. It's very important. Our austerities are meant to result in increased attachment for Krishna. We don't put ourselves through hardships just to demonstrate how austere we are. We may tolerate inconveniences for the sake of serving Krishna. Just like this month, you may tolerate some inconveniences for the sake of being able to chant about Krishna, read about Krishna more. It's a wonderful month for taking up any activity, big or small, for increasing the attachment to Krishna.
What should be the goal of our life?
What should be the goal of our life?
Yeah.
First, begin by understanding you're different from the body and mind. That's the preliminary goal. This is explained by Krishna in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. You have read Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. So there it's explained so clearly. The ABCs of spiritual life mean to understand how we are different from the body, how we are pure spirit soul. Then the next question is, if we are spirit soul, what are we a part of? We are part of the Supreme Soul. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says all living entities are his spiritual children. He's the seed-giving Father. We're all parts of Krishna. We're not Krishna, but we're part of Krishna. If we're going to understand who we are, that means we have to understand what we are part of, yes? And then the last phase of achieving the goal of life is to understand our relationship with Krishna and act in that relationship. That's the whole purpose of our life. What other purposes do you think could be there? Career purposes, making money.
So we should identify the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
First we should identify the purpose, right? How do we identify the purpose?
First, you should understand that you are Krishna's servant. Either you serve Krishna's spiritual energy or you serve his illusory energy. But you're always Krishna's servant. So the choice is yours, how you want to relate to Krishna.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
that one thing, to serve,
Uh-huh.
it's like, you say it's, you are saying it's through Hare Krishna mantra? or there is a way we can serve the Krishna?
Yes, certainly. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, your spiritual life advances in the best way.